We are in a period of time where it's become vital to seek the best ways for nature and humans to coexist in harmony. This is so human activity can continue to develop, flourish, and ensure that our natural environment is no longer neglected and damaged. It is important that large corporations and governments begin to work together to bring back harmony between nature and humans. One partnership that's already in place is between Sime Darby, the Royal Society of the United Kingdom, and the state government of Sabah in Malaysia. Sime Darby, the world's largest producer of certified sustainable palm oil, is conscious of the importance of sustainable agriculture. This can only be achieved if a balance is found to ensure the coexistence of agriculture and natural environment.
Agriculture is essential to our well-being, but at the same time we must ensure that natural ecosystems are also protected. And the key to discover the best practices for human activity and ecosystems is to look into the ecosystems in considerable detail and see how we can operate in such a way as to ensure minimal disruption of the natural ecosystems.
In 2009, the Sime Darby Foundation teamed up with the Royal Society's Southeast Asian Rainforest Research Programme and embarked on the world's largest ecological experiment project within the Sabah Foundation Forest Management Area. The Stability of Altered Forest Ecosystems, or SAFE, project's aim is to better understand the effects of forest conversion to plantation, for forest conservation, and the sustainable management of natural resources. The SAFE project is the world's first integrated scientific research program in this field, and will see leading scientists in their respective fields undertaking the research over the course of a 10-year period. Sime Darby is investing close to $10 million to fund this project.
So what we're trying to understand here is exactly how a tropical ecosystem works and exactly what services individual species play. And the key role of the SAFE project is to understand how all of this changes as a result of habitat change and conversion of primary forest into logged forest and oil palm plantation. Another key aspect of Sime Darby's funding is that they've got no power of veto over our research findings. That means we've got credibility in the scientific literature and we can publish any findings, no matter what they are.
The SAFE project is set up in a degraded and heavily logged area, managed by a partner of the project, Benta Wawasan, that is owned by the Sabah Foundation. Benta Wawasan's willingness to take part in the project has given SAFE access to an area earmarked for plantation development in the coming years, allowing the project team to establish a network of different sized forest fragments as forest clearance takes place. It is this sort of collaboration between scientists and the industry that allows a greater understanding on the impact of habitat change, thus enabling methods of reducing the detrimental impacts to the ecosystem. A number of studies have already begun to assess the state of the ecosystem and biodiversity of the forest before logging and conversion to plantation begins. The research carried out by the project scientists includes setting up large plots of land to measure vegetation, tagging of large trees, insect sampling, and research on hydrology. One of the techniques used for the collection of insects is fogging.
So this is an incredibly good way of understanding what's going on above our heads in the tropical rainforest. Remember, some of these trees can get up to 80 metres in the primary forest, such as here in Maliau. Now, the nice thing about this technique is that it's readily comparable across different habitat types. So what we've been doing at SAFE is to put these fogging plots in Maliau, in logged forest sites, and also in established oil palm plantation. And by comparing the insect assemblages collected across these different areas, we can understand the effects of habitat change on canopy insects.
The hydrology part of SAFE project aims to determine the optimal width of riparian buffer zones to help preserve biodiversity and streams water quality. This will help in policy making for sustainable oil palm plantation. I would say the SAFE project is unique because it takes on a fieldwork approach, while most similar studies around the world does a modelling approach.
Data from the SAFE project will also allow us to identify species at risk of local extinction and also assist us in proposing restoration strategies for the often very degraded patches of forest that exist within oil palm plantations in order to improve their resilience over the longer term.
Through data collection at determined scales across the ecosystem and with a series of tests, scientists will begin to really understand how these ecosystems function and what impact habitat conversion has on the local environment. The SAFE project will make a major contribution to the understanding of how biodiversity can be conserved and maintained in plantation landscapes, and address the question of how the economic benefits flowing from the palm oil industry can be balanced with the need for sustainable development and environmental conservation.
It's important for conservationists because it informs how we can manage landscape to maximise biodiversity. It's also important for plantation managers and for agronomists because it means there's ways you can manage a landscape to actually maximise the functioning of these different components to ultimately increase yield and increase sustainability.
Results from the SAFE project will help establish solid and scientifically sound guidelines for both new and existing plantations, as well as enable future assessment of how the preservation of forests within plantations will benefit the plantation and agricultural industry, as well as society at large.
We are very happy that the SAFE project has succeeded in attracting so many international scientists as well as international funding on top of our support. Sime Darby is very committed to environmental issues, and our commitment to environmental projects total 105 million ringgit to date, of which 72.3 million is committed to Sabah alone.
Human activities have often been at odds with the balance of the Earth's fragile ecosystems. Commercial and industrial progress is usually made at the expense of the Earth's resources, with no thought for the future. Sime Darby has taken a new approach to address this imbalance by accepting the challenges in a realistic way and using the bare facts to provide a model for the best responsible agricultural practice.